Welcome back to Market Pros, and here we have Bitcoin on the daily. Alright, so right now your 21's curling up, 50's curling up, 100 and 200 have positive slopes. Your RSI's in the bullish control zone. MACD, strong upside curvature, positive momentum is increasing. Basically on the daily, we're cooking. I mean, we are cooking now. So volatility. It's basically as high as you can go. We can stay up here for a while, so we can keep printing these dark red bars. So the volatility too could continue. Now, if we turn around and cross this moving average to the downside, that's going to mean we're probably going to have some sideways, maybe some slight downside action. There's going to be a reversion to the mean at some point, but we just don't know when it is. Because we could go up to 30 before we see a pullback here. We could go up to 32 before we see a pullback, but my guess is 30. And that's if we get up there first. It's starting to look like we're going to get up there first. We just entered the bullish control zone. We still have plenty of room to run. Now, we do have a drive of bearish divergence if this is a confirmed high, but that could probably just lead us back down to maybe 26,500. Now if we break 26,500, we're probably going to come down to 24,500 or wherever this or 25, wherever this 21 ends up by then. I think we would find support on the 21. So let's go down to some shorter term time frames. Let's go to the 8-hour multi-crossover. All major moving averages are above each other in the bullish control zone on the RSI. Now, once again, drive of bearish divergence if this is a confirmed high. MACD's curling over. Positive momentum is decreasing as the price action's moving up. Okay, we've been going up this whole time, but our momentum has decreased. So is this thing going to roll over? You know what I mean? The pullback is going to come. It's just on whether we're going to get to 30K or not first. So pay attention to your MACD. If you cross this signal line to the downside, get 2 ticks, and then you start printing some dark red bars on the histogram, that's going to mean we're probably going to come down to that, 26,500 level, where that 21 would probably end up. Like, your volatility is, cracking back down. Moving average has a negative slope. You're starting to lose your momentum here. So if this thing rolls over, we're probably going to come down to 26.5, 26.3. You break that, we'll talk about what's going to happen next. 4-hour. 21 looks like it's going to try to come up across that 200. So on like the 8-hour, that would be the 50 and 100. Leaving the bullish control zone. Getting those drives of bearish divergence. Starting to leave that bullish control zone. If we break the 21, 27, 200, that 26K, 26.3 or 26.5 level is going to come into play. MACD, pretty strong downside curvature. Negative momentum's pretty stable. Nothing to really speak of right now. Volatility headed to the downside. Alright, so like I said, this thing could be rolling over, getting yourself ready for a pullback. Let's go to the 1-hour. Seems like we're going sideways here. Could have some sort of symmetrical triangle right here. Looks like we are in some sort of Wyckoff schematic. We'll go over that tomorrow. I'll map out the schematic and then we'll go over that tomorrow. RSI, nosediving, getting below that neutral median line. MACD, negative momentum is just stable. It's nothing to really speak about. And your volatility, BBWP is just headed to the downside now in the lower zone below your moving average. You're being held up by the 50. Alright, basically that's what's happened this whole way, is you were held up by the 50. So if you break the 50, you're probably going to bounce at that, 27, 100, but ultimately I do think you'd come down around 26K, probably where this 200 ends up. Alright, so let's go to the order blocks. So here on the daily, this is why that 30K mark is pretty important. So that 30K lines right up with this order block. Now, you do have If this is a confirmed high, you will have bearish divergence. Once again, I mean, you're riddled with bearish divergence all in all time frames. But this has to be a confirmed high first. So if this is a confirmed high, you're probably going to get that pullback we've been talking about. Stochastic's very overextended right now, hitting those upper levels. Still can have a little bit more room to run though. That's what I'm saying. We could hit 30K before we go down. And then where's that pullback lead us down to, you know? 25,400 would be a good spot, to be honest, to have one of those nasty pullbacks. You know what I mean? Right at the top of this high, which would be a higher low. I mean, we're operating on higher highs right now. Did make a lower low, but I mean, you screamed to back up. You know what I mean? Let's go back to here and we'll talk about the bullish and bearish cases. So, I mean, bullish case is pretty self-explanatory. You break the last high at 28,500, probably going to go to 30K. All right. Now, you break, like I said, you break this 27, probably going to come down to 26,500. You break 26,500, you're probably going to come down all the way to 25,500. You break that, small bounce, 24,650. But ultimately, I think you would come back down to 22,500, 22,400. That's if you break those levels, though. You know what I mean? That's if you break those levels. So let's move on to Ethereum. See if there's a similar story here. Ethereum looks a little weaker. All right, so on the 1 hour, we are in the bearish control zone. It has rolled over. I mean, we're rolling over right now, operating on lower highs, lower lows. Let's go ahead and do this. Yeah, lower highs, lower lows. Probably going to come down to that 17, 18 mark. And then get a bounce. Then we'll find out. If we break 1685, remember this level. We've been playing with this level for quite a while. We're probably going to retest this low down here at 1614. Break 1614, probably going to hit 1532. All right, so your MACD is below your zero line. Negative momentum is decreasing though, so you're losing your downward strength. Now it could pick up. You know, you start breaking this low on the histogram. Probably going to have quite the move down, probably down to that 1685, maybe on a wick, but we'll see. BBWP still trending to the downside, below your moving average. Now if you cross your moving average, get back above this high, maybe get back into that upper zone, I would expect either this high to break or this low to break. So basically the bullish case, you got to break these last highs. 1850, you break 1850, 2K is next, because that's going to mean that Bitcoin's going up to those upper levels we were talking about. Now you break 1685, I would expect a bounce down here at about 1615. Like I said, ultimately I think you come down to 1532. Alright, let's move on to Solana. Solana's not looking bad, but it's really not giving us much. I mean, you're just kind of going sideways in this neutral zone right now for your RSI. MACD's trending down. Negative momentum's kind of picking up though. If we do make a lower low, if we break this 200 at 2090, I would expect us to come all the way back down to 1880. Break 1880, retest other lows, 1620. That's far and few. That's far away. Basically, if you break the last high at 2385, $25 is in the cards. $25 is the next stop, because 25 would line up with basically this last range high. I mean, you could even get up to 27, 25, maybe 25.40. That's probably what I'm looking at. 25.40. 25 is going to be probably a rejection point. I mean, you got this VPVR level coming in right here, basically that top one. You're going to have resistance at 2380 and 2435. You know, basically where you got rejected off last time is at 2385 level. You're going to have resistance there. You're going to have resistance at 2440. All right, so that's about it for me. I wish everyone well, and I will see you tomorrow.